This is the Platinum Plaisir in their 10th anniversary limited edition Belt of Venus color. It also comes in their Country Sunshine, which is a yellow and green color, and their Morning Glow, which is an orange and red color. The pen comes in a straightforward plastic box with cardboard ends. In the Belt of Venus color, it starts out pink in the center and then tapers off to blue on the ends. It has a plain metal ridged clip. Around its very wide metal cap band, it says Japan and then has kind of a chain link marking, and then Plaisir, and then the chain link marking again, and then Platinum. It's a cigar-shaped pen with an aluminum body. The Plaisir is a snap cap fountain pen. One of the things I didn't like about the Plaisir before is I felt like it was a little bit difficult to unsnap. That was until a Japanese sales lady chided me for doing it incorrectly. You should pop the top off right at the cap band. The things you learn from the pros. What you don't want to do is try to pop it off below the cap band. If you attempt to unscrew the cap, what you end up doing is just unscrewing the barrel very easily. So yeah, the pop top really isn't a problem at all. It's very easy to come off. One of the nice things is you get a pink feed with this. I'm assuming you get a green feed with the Country Sunshine and a red feed with the Morning Glow. The Plaisir does have Platinum slip and seal system, which is basically a spring at the top of the cap and a plastic lining on the inside. I've had no problems at all with ink drying out in my Plaisirs. The pen comes with a cartridge but does not come with a converter. Today I'll use this Platinum converter with these little dragonflies painted on it. I really like Platinum converters and they fit nice and snug. Here it is capped with a Mont Blanc 149 and then a Platinum 3776 and then with a TWSBI Echo. Uncapped with the Mont Blanc 149, it's pretty much dwarfed by it. Uncapped is about the same size as a 3776, except for the nib is much larger on the 3776. And uncapped, it's shorter than the TWSBI Echo and the nib is smaller. The section and nib of the Plaisir is the same as the section and nib of the Profante. If you have the made for China Shooting Star, it also is the same section and nib. Both of those have a gray feed, which makes the pink one nice. And it is also the same section and feed for the Preppy. So you can take the body of the Plaisir and then just take the section nib part of like a Preppy and screw that on and then even cap it. So all these nib and section units are interchangeable with all the bodies of all these pens. Which means if you have a Preppy, which sometimes has a tendency for the cap to crack or the clip to come off, you can throw that away, but hang on to your section and your nib because you can put that in one of these other pens. Now some people complain about that because the section and feed is the same in the Plaisir and the Profante and the Preppy, so they're saying it's just basically the same pen. The Preppy's about $3, the Profante about $10, and typically the Plaisir's around $14. This is one of those times where a Japanese pen was cheaper in the United States. Right now, this pen is going for about $22 retail or $17 online. I paid about $30 for this in a Japanese stationery store. But I contend that even though the nib and the writing experience is the most important thing about a pen, the looks also matter. How a pen looks brings me, for lack of a better word, writing happiness. Is the Mont Blanc writing experience so much better than, say, a Profante? You can buy a computer with a Mont Blanc. Having an aluminum body that won't crack when I throw the pen into my purse and having this pretty pink and blue color is actually kind of important to me. So I understand having different price points for different coverings for the same nib and section. I think the major downside for this pen is this feed does not come out of this section. I started out using Preppies as my standard pen for my ink reviews, but I quickly ran into trouble. I kind of like to push it with inks, and this Preppy is filled with a glass pen only ink. Do not do this at home. From past experience, I know I'll be able to get the converter completely cleaned out. Platinum has great converters that come apart, but I'll never get this concrete out of the feed. As a result, I switched to Pilot Kakunos as my standard ink testing pen. You can completely take apart the section, pull out the feed and nib, and clean the feed with like a small brush or something. The most you can do with this section is pull out the nib part right there, but the feed is still stuck inside that plastic housing. So with this pen, I'll probably stick with ink colors that I don't mind being stuck on this feed, like maybe pinks or purples. Here it is with the ink that I'll be using today. And here it is after I cleaned it out. I didn't seem to have a problem with this ink. I like it that Platinum is experimenting with these ombre colors. I'm fully into the girly side of my pen collecting. And I like it that pen companies are kind of addressing this. First it was the super sparkly pens. And then we have different pen turners using sparkle in both plain colors and mixed colors. And then Platinum came out with their concave sparkly texture. And this recent TWSBI that came out with their anodized metals. I really welcome this new color concept. Okay, let's ink it up. I'll be using a shimmering ink from Tono & Limbs called Iolite from their Earth Contact line. It was the ink you saw earlier dripping down the screen. The purple glitter ink looks great on that pink feed. I'll be using this Live Notes by Pen Gallery. It's full of Tomoe River paper. And as many of you know, the Plaisir and the Preppy write nice and smooth, and this is no different. This pen is a 0.05, which is indicated on the nib, and it's a medium. Their 0.03 is a fine, and their 0.02 for Platinum is an extra fine. Sometimes I forget how nice and smooth some of these more inexpensive pens are, like the Preppy and the Kakuno. Reverse writing is a little more scratchy and a little more thin, but it works fine even when I'm doing a bunch of fast scratching writing. The pen posts deeply and securely, and I was quite surprised at how comfortable that was, and the cap does not scratch the finish at all. Between the beautiful coloring and the fact that the ink does not dry out on a Plaisir, this is a welcome addition to my pen lineup. The next few videos I have coming down the pipeline is a review on the Tokyo International Pen Show and a video I am calling Crazy Inks. Please subscribe and stay tuned.